Hey Soloists, Agent Solo Matt Rice here. Thanks for joining in. This is my first episode of, I'm going to call it Season 1, Episode 1, because you never know if I continue this on again with a different game, who knows, of designing a game. I felt like that was a goal of mine for this year to see how I go with the design process of a solo game. And I'm just going to go through my thought processes with you. For those that are interested in following me through with this is the very first attempt for me. And, some people might help and pitch in, say some ideas and things for me, where I should go with my design process. But today I'm just going to look at like an overview of what kind of game I want to create. What's the concepts I want to have in this game? What do I want to achieve out of this game? What mechanics? What theme? So these are some things I'm going to scribble down for it. So, of course, with a game, you need a title. Okay, and where does that title come from? I'm thinking it's going to be a mixture of, well, mostly from theme. Okay, and what kind of theme would that be? Do I want something like fantasy? These are my little notes to myself. Do I want something like sci-fi? There's plenty of like typical things. These are very popular. And I put an arrow up on that. Like fantasy is quite popular. It sells. So we see a lot of Kickstarters that keep going around through and through, stemming from Dungeons and Dragons all the way through Sword and Sorcery and things like that. Plenty of that. Sci-fi, more famous by Warhammer 40,000, StarCraft, things like that. And Star Trek, I guess, Star Wars. It's something I've thought about too. I think I prefer fantasy to start with, as it's more popular. There's sci-fi. There's other themes I could do. I could do like something like ancient history, modern events. But I think I might stick to something that's more exciting for me, from my perspective, like fantasy, dungeon crawling sort of stuff. But does that mean that the type of mechanic? What does that mean? What is it? And I'm just going to put out there what I like and what I know some people that I'm friends with like. I love dice games, things with dice in them. I know I probably turned off the Eurocrat straight away. But in terms of solo, like the dice game seems to be more exciting to me. The worker placement's not high on my list. But I do like dice games. I do like card. Worker placement's not quite up there for me, but I could integrate something. What would I do with that? And I'm going to give some examples here that what I like and what I want to put into a game. And the first one I'm going to start with, like some examples. So example mechanics that I like. The first one I'm going to start with is a recent game I just covered. It was Dice Realms, and how they like the upgrading dice mechanic. I think that's a big thing, and I think you can combine that with some kind of RPG or something. I'll show you what I mean. I just cut to a couple of examples from the game. So in Dice Realms, there's multiple of these dice where you can upgrade the sides. So I've got a little dice tool here. I can shuffle this out here, and I might want to upgrade it to one that says 2 instead. And I like that in this game, for example. When you can do that to every side, you keep upgrading, spending. For my thoughts, you could spend like experience points and get those new dice, and your dice builds up. Okay, that's something that I'm intrigued by. Something that I think has the basics in this game, but I think there's something more that can be done with this. And in my head, that's what sort of inspired me to go, I think I could do something with this. So that's one thing that I want to make note of. So definitely, the Dice Realms upgrading dice mechanic, that's really, really up there. I want to be able to do something with that. And probably in the fantasy realm, like an adventure. And I might put that next to it, like more of an adventure exploration game. Exploration, mixture of, what does that mean? Like social, combat, explore areas. Like something I could do that where you could build up a hero. That's what I'm going to do here. And speaking of which, the next game I'm going to reference here is Too Many Bones. Another dice game, of course. There's probably a bit of a theme happening here with dice. And I like how the skill upgrade mechanic, there's different dice, the different dice that you can make off that. And I'll show what I mean by that. So this is Too Many Bones as an example with Pickett here from the core game. So he's got all these slots here as you go in the game that there's certain things that you start with. I think you can start with a 1 stand ground. I can't remember. I haven't played this game in a little while. But I've also got it shown off on my channel for those that want to watch it. So you start with a certain stats. So you might have 5 health and might get an extra 2 there. Things like that. That's one aspect that I like about this, and the whole no wasted die aspect. Because some of your dice that you can roll, if I can find an example. Oh, here we go. Apologies about that. So some of these dice that you roll can roll bones, and some of these bones can then go on your backup plan to charge up something. So if you do a bad roll where you're after getting to attack, but instead you've got a bone, you can save that bone for another time to use. I can use shield bash now because I've got 2 of these saved up, and I like that mechanic in this game. I like that mechanic. I also like the fact that you can get skills that you upgrade with a special dice. I guess that can tie into Dice Realm somehow, where you can upgrade it and get another die, unlock another die, unlock another, or unlock abilities that you can put into your die, things like that. Okay, so you know, you can put stand ground here, and then I can upgrade from there, and it rolls differently as well, different sides. I love that part of the mechanic. I mean, it's expensive, but I just love that aspect of this game. Alrighty. Yeah, so that's the Too Many Bones aspects. The skill upgrade of different dice, and the ability to you know, upgrade your stats, I guess, as well. Yeah, I like that about that game. Of course, I'm going to put in the corner here, this is all about being solo as well, or soloable. Yeah, next thing I want to reference here, people love this as probably the best solo game to date, Mage Knight. Of course, you got to copy from the best of it, don't you? Take some ideas from the best games. And I'm going to reference here the mana dice. Mana dice mixed with card play. I'm going to show you what that's about as well. So here's Mage Knight. Simple cards. I should choose some simpler ones, shouldn't I? So you can see what's going on here. Let's put a blue one in, red, and I don't know. Let's say this is left in my hand. These 3 cards. Okay. And I haven't used anything from the source yet. This is like the dice, and the dice might have been something like this. Whoa, that's a bit different. Let's do something like that. I like the ability that you have a weaker ability and a stronger ability in the cards. I think that's fantastic, and I know that was used in Gloomhaven as well. Having that aspect of choose 2 different options, but you can only choose it in certain situations, and if you do, there's consequences or positives, a bit of both. So in this case here, like I could put the blue here to then gain a crystal of any color to my inventory instead of have to pay another basic color with it. Or maybe an easier example, this gold can be any color. I might use attack 4 with that instead of doing just attack 2. Okay, and using that gold color, but you can only use it once per round. Once per turn. Yeah, I just like that about this game, you know. And you also can collect like actual crystals that you can save up and then use it on a big turn when you need to do a fair few things. I mean, it's simple, but opens up so many options, especially if the abilities, I mean, in this case it is, and you get some that are a bit more complicated, more text heavy, what happens on each one as well as you upgrade. Yeah, I love that. And I want to be able to do something to do with that in a game that I've got. But it's just the mana dice itself that you can reference and go, in a certain area or a certain situation, I can use this die to power something up. Yeah, so that's Mage Knight, the mana dice mixed with the card play. Fantastic. I think I might mention one more mechanic that I really liked was Warhammer Conquest. I don't have this game anymore. It's a 40k version of the game. And I just like having like cards as locations and then playing cards to those locations and fighting over. It's like area control with cards to those locations, and I just put dash area control. I don't have the game anymore, but I'll quickly show you with my basic set of cards. I'll just quickly drag it in right now. So essentially you would have a few locations in front of you. I think it's up to 5, but anyway, let's just put 3 because that's what will fit. And there might be certain abilities on those cards, and you have to pay certain resources from your hand. So from one person here, you might pay resources to go. I want to go to this location, and then that's your turn. And the next person pays resources to put a card here. Okay, and then it might come back to me, and I might have event cards in my hand. Like this Joker might be the event card, and I play that, and that might move him to here, force him to go here, or do something else with things like events and that. And I like that. And then at the end of the round, there'll be like a dueling situation with like if there's people at the same location, there's a fight. They fight over the location if it's the closest one, and they win it. And it's all about getting a certain amount of locations. I like that factor about Warhammer 40,000. 2-player game, but I want to make sure you can do that solo somehow. I'm sure there is a way. Alrighty guys, that might be episode 1, I think. It's just a bit of a start there, just thinking about, title, how to get a title for the game, what theme, what mechanic I want to do here, what things do I like. And I'm going to go away and think about how I'm going to nut out this. I might start looking at what kind of couple little things out of these that I want to put into a game. And how it's playing out so far. I might come with like very much basic paper stuff, what I'm doing so far, and what my thoughts are. So I'll stop it there. These will be just short snippets of how I'm going with game design. Thanks for watching if you are. Appreciate the support. If you have any comments about what you think, what your thoughts are, with my thoughts, how they're aligning. But it might take a few episodes for people to start commenting, I think, and want to see what's going on. But anyway, souls, to crush your gaming thirst, play solo. Till next time.